Hello, it's Nancy. Welcome to Garden Scroll. Today at Garden Scroll, we're going to go look at the daylilies because you get a new surprise every day when they're beginning their blooms. So here is one, and I'm going to go right over here, which I got this one for you just yesterday actually, but this one, it had 3 on it, but now it just has the 1, but it's a beautiful bloom. And these are a pretty little ruffled edge yellow. And right over here is the one that made me go get the camera. I think this one is called Moses's Fire. It's looking pretty. And here's a lovely bright orange. See my gloves because I'm supposed to be working out here. I'm supposed to be planting. And I have planted a few seeds. I do want to get them all planted. I know this is not a daylily. It's a pincushion flower or scabiosa. But it's blooming really pretty this morning. Look at this daylily. I can't remember the name of this, but it's the one that always reminds me of my lily because my granddaughter, because this is the kind of thing when I first saw it, I thought that's something that Lily would color or paint. But she wouldn't put one color in it. She would put all these different colors. Even though there's just 2, she would have to make it several different shades. You could bet it would be unique and beautiful. And I see another yellow spider lily blooming over there where the 2 were blooming yesterday. And look at this little angel peeking over the top of those beautiful double petunias. Look at this dianthus. I love these little shaggy, lacy things. In one book it was called a ghost dianthus. And here's some of the pretty dark daylilies. And not daylilies, but right above it are the Asiatic or Oriental lilies. And I'm not sure which one this is. And I think the only difference is that one of them has a fragrance and the other one doesn't. But they are very pretty, and they last more than 1 day. But they are a lot more fragile than I thought they were. When I tried to take a bouquet to my friend, I was surprised that so many petals fell off before it got there in transportation. A pretty little apricot bloom. And then these blooms. And here's some more of the pretty dark daylilies. Again, not lilies, but these are bachelor buttons in the pretty blue, and I think they're actually showing the true blue. I tried to show these to you once before and they looked more purple, but they're looking pretty this morning. And then I also have blackberries. Not a lot, but enough to get a good handful every now and then to enjoy while I'm out here. Or I'm going to take these in and share them with my husband. But also what I wanted to show you was this fence row. I have peonies and daylilies and an occasional, well, this is a blanket flower, and I think, well, I know I see a black-eyed Susan down here. So occasionally I'll have a zinnia come up here to kind of tide me over after the daylilies go. This is one like the one I showed you before. And then over here some pretty bright yellow with a dark throat or dark circle around their throat. Isn't that pretty? Another pretty apricot colored one. And then there's an empty spot right here where I dug up my peony because a mole was killing it. And so I took it up, and hopefully it still had some root left, so I'm hoping it will grow where I put it. And then whenever that mold goes away, hopefully I will put another one there. And then here is that screaming orange. And it does scream at you. It really does. It's so thick. Even the petals are thicker than some, and it's just so pretty. I'm shocked every time I see this first bloom of the season. And just look, hiding in here, I almost missed them. Look like velvet. And not daylilies. I think these are Casablanca lilies. They're not very tall this year, and they may not be a Casablanca. I should go over there and smell it. Actually, if it was a Casablanca, I would probably be smelling it from here, but they have a wonderful fragrance. But I love this big old white bloom. So I came over here and got closer and smelled of it, and they're not. They don't have a scent, so they're just a big, pretty white lily. I'm not sure the name of them. They are pretty. Also not lilies, but isn't this a pretty basket of white daisies? This is a little small Stella d'Or lily and daylily, and they're very pretty too. They're small, but that yellow color blends in and just kind of weaves together all the other colors. They would just work in so many places in the garden. And here's another of the dark lilies, almost opened up. I just thought I'd get a closer up of this pretty bright yellow. This is another Asiatic lily, or oriental, that's blooming. I love this pretty pink. This poor little arrangement was looking bad yesterday. I didn't water the day before in the back, and then I watered it yesterday, and it did come out of it. It's looking gorgeous this morning. That pretty, this is the blue Victorian salvia, one of my favorites. I love blue in the garden. And then this little thing says the word of the Lord endures forever. And I have a fondness for this little lily. There was one in the back that I've already shown you, but I just wanted to put it on here again. This is a different one, but it's the same type of lily. And this is my first the kind of the daylily that I first got in my garden. And I always loved it because it looks like it's just reaching out to you. And I just love the colors too. Red and yellow, they're always going to be a standout together. Oh look, surprise to me, I've got a sweet little pale yellow coreopsis coming up there. Petunias and geraniums. And another surprise, a pretty creamsicle zinnia is blooming, and I'm just now planting my zinnias. These came up from just volunteer from seeds from last year. That's a very pretty color. And look beside it, that's a strawberry fields that's beginning to open up its bloom. Pretty little poppy mellow there. Gaillardia and blue larkspur. A pretty little petunia that some bloom bug has gotten into and just about destroyed it for me. The larkspur are beginning to go to seed, so it won't be too much longer that they won't be in the garden. Once they go to seed and everything turns brown, I try to pull them up. This is their seed right here on this little stalk here. The flower is all gone off of it, and you can tell that these are little seeds. You just break them open and plant the seeds that are inside them for next year, which actually they'll just fall down and I'll get probably maybe more than I actually want, although I love these, I do, but I don't want to get so many that I can't deal with it and that they take over and choke something else out of any plant. And this is what I'm wanting to show one of my friends that doesn't have, she has lots of plants, almost if not everything that I do in her garden, and it's so beautiful. She actually gave me my start of my blue larkspur, but I want to show her this wonderful succulent pot. And all I do, I don't water it differently, it's just that it's in such a shallow little container there that it doesn't matter. It's not going to get too much water, so it just seems to do wonderfully there. And I've been trying to get the succulents that do come back. I love all of them, but I want them to come back each year. Look at these poppy seeds. If that would open up and put poppies everywhere, I'd have a problem with poppies. Which this is the first one I've got to bloom and come back to actually bloom again. Was this the first year it bloomed though? I think this is the first year it bloomed. It got big, pretty foliage last year, but this is the first year that it bloomed. But it did come back from last year, so I'm happy with that. And I think I may end up having some more because there's just so many of these seed heads on here that I can't hardly see why they wouldn't put some seed down that would come back again, even volunteer, like these little Bells of Ireland did for me. I had a hard time getting these ever started. I didn't know if I ever would, but I just kept planting them a few and see what would happen. And then of course last year they just took off and went, and then went again from that same little plant that put down seed for this year too. I'm enjoying them. I actually put a few here and there, and they did say that they did not like to be transplanted, but I did pick a day when it was cool and misting, and I think they transplanted okay. We'll see. So many people don't like red in their garden, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all, because I love red in the garden. Talk about a showstopper. Okay, I'm gonna go in and eat my blackberries that I have in my pocket, and then I'm going to get back out here and get to planting again. There's actually some of my seeds right there, and so I need to get those planted. This is my divider. This is the ones I've got planted, and this are the ones I still need to plant. Plus I have 2 or 3 more bags that I need to go through. And of course I'm not planting all those seeds, but I just want at least a few of them for a chance to see a beautiful surprise zinnia or celosia. Today I've been planting mostly zinnias. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I think all the things I planted so far are zinnies, but I'm going to plant several different things, and well, I am if I'll get busy, and hopefully I will. Hopefully I'll get busy and get some things done. Let me see if I can remember some of the seeds I planted besides just zinni seeds. Although I have to tell you that my purple splash and my zinni seeds were some of the most important ones. My garden would never be right without them. But at least I've got them planted, so even if I don't get them, I'll know that I've done my part to get them to grow. So hopefully they will work, and we'll have beautiful purple splash trailing peppers and zinnies to shine in the fall garden and the late summer garden. They just really take center stage then. And I also planted some African daisies, some in the muted orange with a muted purple center, so pretty, and then the yellow with the purple center, which is also another striking combination of color. So I got those, and I got several. I did a silver sage. I love that for the color. It's just, and it's a soft, like lamb's ear type of a foliage, and just so pretty. Look, here's some of my what are these called now? I can't think of the name of them, but the, oh goodness, I'm not going to be able to think of the name of it. I'll try to put it on here when I put this on. It's right like on the tip of my tongue, but it's not coming, so I guess I'll have to let that one go for now. But and let's see what else. There were so many different little things. I planted some celosia. I planted the one I was telling you that I wanted you to get to see, which is a yellow and pink mixture of a celosia in the plume type. And I planted several of the coxcomb. Hopefully they'll, at least some of them, come up. It's just hard to think of all the ones I planted, but there were lots. I didn't plant a big grouping of hardly anything at all. The biggest grouping at all would have been some marigold and zinnies that I put together. I think my biggest thing that took the longest was just going around trying to find a spot for things, but I tucked them in here and there wherever I thought something would grow or had room to grow. So, and honestly, there will be a few more I will put in because it's kind of like when you weed something, you usually miss a few, and when I plant, I usually miss getting a few planted. I think I planted a purple splash pepper next to this little white because I thought that would be pretty together. Hopefully it'll come up. Just lots of different seeds. I wish I could think of them all for you right now, but I'll show them to you as they grow up in the garden if they come up, which hopefully they will. Last year I planted my geranium, I'm looking at this geranium right here and saying geraniums, but actually my zinnias I planted a little too early last year, and it was a little too cool for them, and I had to replant those. So it shouldn't be too cool for them at this time, because today is the 14th of June, and I've got most of my seeds in, but I probably will be putting a few more in. This is that Peter's Wonder, and this is why I keep getting them mixed up, because look at the different colors in this. This doesn't look the same as the Peter's Wonder in the back, but they're both beautiful, but they do have a little different coloring. It's from the same plant. Some of it is from the same plant. So it just has a little different colors as it gets older, and when you replant it and take a little piece off of it and restart that, they kind of change coloring just a little. So they do just change a little, but it's enough to make them kind of look like a different plant. But you know, it's like the Alabama sunset coleus. Sometimes those are predominantly the reddish color or the pinkish red, and then other times they're predominantly the yellow color, but always with a little bit of the opposite color in with them. They're a very pretty coleus. Look at all the pink coming in out of this one. So I actually had a rough day planting. It was a full day, and it was hot, and I had to water everything in after I got it planted. But I found a way to kind of show you some of the things I did. Like, here's one of my seed bags, and I had 3 of them that I had picked out I wanted to plant some out of. So we're going to look in here for a little bit, so I'm going to have to remember, because I'm not that good at remembering. But oh yes, the beautiful McKenna Giants Columbine. I planted some of those. I planted the yellow cosmos. I think I'll have some of the other colors come at volunteer. I hope I do. And these are called cupcakes mix. And I have not yet had one of those to bloom. These are called candy lilies, and they are really pretty too. They're real tiny, about the size of a quarter, but they're just a little surprise. I love those surprises like that in the garden. This is that celosia I was telling you about, and I guess it's not a plume. I was thinking it was like a plume, but it's more of the coxcomb blend. But I think that's going to be really pretty. And this is sorrel, which is a pretty foliage plant, even though I know it belongs in the vegetable garden. This is the coxcomb I was telling you that I did some of these. The Cheyenne Spirit echinacea or coneflower, and I don't know for sure if these are going to come up for me this year, but hopefully they will by next year anyway. These are some you can tell I saved myself because they are in a paper bag. This was this is a lovely chartreuse rose. I got annual hibiscus that I got from Logie's. Oh, I hope I can get these going again. I kept one for a year, but it went ahead and died. I'm so bad with house plants. And this is another little house plant that I killed, but it had a tiny little powder puff bloom on it, so I saved that seed, which I probably can't get to come up, but I'm going to try it. I've got to stop saying that, because you're snared by the words of your mouth, and I don't want to say that I won't do it, but I just have to say, Lord, help me figure out how to do it. And then this is a purple with yellow nemesia, and I love it. Oh, they're so pretty. Let me go back over here for just a minute and show you. Now this is not purple and yellow, but this is pink and yellow when I get here. I think I may have already put it on here, but I'll just put it on here again because it's so pretty. Just these little light, airy flowers that make a big grouping showing from one little plant, and I hope that will last all summer. So far I have not got one to last past probably July, but our summers get very hot. This is the nicest spring we've had, the longest spring we've had since I've been gardening. It's been so nice. Thank you, Lord. I pray for more of these. We're back to my bag of goodies. Let's see what else I planted yesterday. And this is only the one bag. I had actually 3 bags. So the large double orange marigolds. I did not plant very many of those. That's some more of that chartreuse rose hibiscus, which is gorgeous. These are a peach. It's a short zinnia with a full bloom I've got here, and it's coral peach. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Doesn't that sound beautiful with forget-me-nots, the beautiful blue and that peach together would be so pretty. This is the orange muted African daisy with the purple halo. This is the pale yellow short container zinnia with a full-size bloom. I love those things. And I think they are the Zahara, or they may be the dahlia flowered ones, but either of those. Oh, and this is that silver sage I was telling you about. I don't know if you can get an idea of how pretty that is. It's just like kind of like lamb's ear, only a shorter, bigger leaf, thicker version of it. It is such a pretty container plant. The black pearl ornamental peppers, and of course my purple splash. I emptied this envelope. I emptied it because last year I planted several and I only got one that really looked good. These are called basket flower. I've only had one of these bloom too, and I would love to have these bloom where they just come back from seed from the year before. They're so pretty, and the bees and the butterflies love them. You want to keep going because there's several more in here. This is a this is the Profusion, double Profusion. These are beautiful too, and they make a little showing that they're just, a little plant that's perfect for containers. This is chimney mix. What is this called? It's a daisy. I guess it's not Rebecca. Yeah, and these are wonderful too. I honestly, I haven't got one growing yet, but isn't that pretty? I want them to grow, and I think I may have used all of those seeds and still haven't got one up, but I'm going to keep trying. Gomphrena or globe flower. I have the red and the pink, probably coming up volunteer some places in my garden, but of course I want them all. They're so pretty. I love a globe flower of any sort. The large double yellow marigolds. I didn't plant many of these, but I did plant a few of each of them. This is the Chinese lanterns. I can't seem to get those going either. They are annual, but they're pretty. You just little interesting, unique looking things. I planted several of these. This is a zinnia. It's called, what is this called? Excuse me. This is called Sonora, and it's one of the taller zinnias. This is it's called a tropical butterfly weed, and it is beautiful, and it definitely has the butterflies visit this, and the caterpillars visit this. And last year they ate it all the bloom up before I got to see it until the very last, and then they left me some to just really enjoy, and that's a pretty little flower. Of course, you know what I think about red and yellow, because I think it's just so showy, so eye-catching. I did plant a few of these black-eyed Susan. I love the black-eyed Susan vine. I think I have some of the white and some of the yellow, both coming up from seeds from last year. This is called corkscrew vine. I ordered one of these and put it in, and we got a freeze, so it froze it out. Anyway, I'm hoping I actually only had one seed left in this, but I'm hoping that one seed will make me some pretty little corkscrew flowers. I definitely need to get another packet of that for next year. These were really pretty too. These are the Zahara double raspberry, which has two-tone shades of pink in it, and it's very pretty plant too. Little plant for containers, but it puts on lots of flowers. When it says profusion, that's what it's talking about. And then these are the, oh, I think these are called candy mix. Yeah, that's what they're called. And I love them because they're not a real big showy flower, but I just love that little tuft in the center of it. Every time I see that, I'm fascinated by it in the garden. So pretty. Look at these morning glories. I know morning glories are just a problem child, if there ever was one. They just keep on going, but this one here is so pretty. It's worth having it in the garden and try to clip it off, and I don't even know if they will come true to this. It's surely some kind of hybridized thing. Just a minute, I gotta kill an ant. It's crawling on me, but that's just part of the garden too, bugs are, but this is beautiful, so eye-catching. I hope I have some of those in the garden this year too. This is another one of the Rudbeckia. This one is a double, like the ones I showed you a while ago, only it's double. And again, I have, as far as I know, I have not had any of these planted unless one came up and I thought it was a zini. I mean, I've had them planted, definitely. I think I've planted all of them, and I need to get some more seed and try again if these don't work. But I think they look really pretty. There's your blue forget-me-nots. I do love those things. And then, what is this? It's another little container zini. So I thought I had the salmon one because I put I think on there, because one time I gave my sisters seeds and told them they were one thing and they ended up being another thing. So that wasn't one of my smartest things, but you know, they're used to me. They know how I am. Also, while I'm thinking of it, I planted end chops. I don't know if that's in here, but they make a pretty little globe flower too, a little round flower. And when it goes to seeds, the doves will come. When it falls on the ground, they love to come and pick those up. I planted some of these, which is the echinacea coneflower, green twister. I planted some more of the cactus zinis. I love these also, and these are I think these might be the dahlia flowered zinis. Aren't they pretty? And then I did try one of these. I've had these to grow before, but they are an annual. So, but you know how I feel also about that burgundy growing in amongst the green. It just sets the green off and just breaks up the color and makes you appreciate both colors even more. We're about to the end of this one, and I think I used all of these seeds also, and I have never gotten any of these to get started for me, but I like this pretty, and I can't say this, agastache or agastache or something similar to that, but it's a hummingbird mint, and I think the yellow is so pretty. I wish I could get some of that going. This is called flowering kale. I had some of this last year, and it makes a pretty little stalk, and it has a little flower that looks kind of like a green rose with a tiny little bit of pale yellow on it. these are flowering kale. And look at that frilly, just no, I'll get it open here where you can look at it, but look at that frilly beauty. But mine have never been that kind of red. They've been green with a purple tinge to it, but the purple has not been bright and beautiful purple. But even though they are just a little green with some purple on them, that frilly part of them, and they just look so different. They're pretty in a container too. And I'm wondering, I need to look into seeing about you know how they actually put like red dye in some plants, or some color dye, like for the cactus and different things that color them. So I wonder if maybe I could do that with this, but of course I probably won't take the time to do that because I have so much to deal with. I just don't think I'd have the time for that. But if I ever do, I might try that. And this is a marigold, and it's just, it looks beautiful in this picture. If it's that pretty, I certainly hope some of these come up. And I think, yep, this is the last one, and it is another one of those silver sage. I didn't have to open this one this year, but I love this. As I told you, it makes a very eye-catching plant in a container. So as I was putting that up, putting my bag of goodies back together, I was thinking also that I planted, oh gosh, now I forgot what I was going to tell you. Well, there went that thought. What did I plant? Oh, I know what it was. It's some double red cosmos. So I had a few of those last year, so I tried those again because they're also eye-catching and beautiful. And you know, I just put 1 or 2, 3 seeds here and there of different things, so it won't be a lot and they won't all come up, but it'll be such a wonderful surprise to see the ones that do come up, and we'll just enjoy them as they do.